Action Fund, the Senate Oversight Fund, and the Economic Stimulus Empowerment Fund. Madam Speaker, let me first thank the two colleagues, Honorable Ngishimu and Mule, for their effort to co-sponsor the proposal as one of key and critical business for this 13th Parliament. Earlier on, there have been lots of confusion about the existence of the NGCDF. Madam Speaker, after the courts pronounced themselves on the same regarding the constitutionality of this CDF Act, Madam Speaker, CDF fund was brought up sometimes in 2003. After the Kibaki government came into power, an idea which was borrowed from India and Ghana, one of the cardinal values in transparency and accountability, which equates the whole exercise to public scrutiny from different facets of government, both public and private. The main purpose for this fund is to address socio-economic development of the people at the constituency level, as it is designed to reduce poverty and enhance regional equity. Madam Speaker, historically, Kenya has been labeled as a nation with immense levels of unjust opportunities amongst its people and the communities, as it was consumed since independence. Madam Speaker, the fund over the years tried to elevate communities which have rather been left behind by the infrastructural developments and projects, contribution in education in terms of school fees payment to the needy students. And Madam Speaker, as I stand here, I have sponsored over 300 students in my constituency from since I was elected in 2017. Out of the 300 students which are fully sponsored with the full scholarship, around 200 have now finished Form 4. They are joining colleges, universities with grade A and better grades. And this has been facilitated by the funds through the CDF. Madam Speaker, we have built so many schools in my constituency, both primary and secondary schools. There are so many related classes, especially in primary schools. We've modernized them. So anybody who is in denial about the CDF fund, I think is an enemy of the people in this republic. Madam Speaker, the inclusion of NGCDF fund under the National Affirmative Action Fund, the Senate Oversight Fund, and the Economic Stimulus and Empowerment Fund shall ensure such funds are ring-fenced and permanently entrenched in the Constitution to avoid incidental threats from developing legislations and court decisions, which for years have sought to invalidate the existence of these funds. This is the highest time the 13th Parliament is supposed to be firm on this exercise. Madam Speaker, the introduction of the Senate Oversight Fund shall strengthen the operations of the devolved function in a manner that is strictly done in compliance with the law to reduce privileges. The fund shall enable the upper house to ensure that the counties shall perform their function without the earlier experience and precedented delays, so that the citizens can benefit in time. Madam Speaker, if you go around in all the constituencies, you will realize that the only fiscal and development infrastructure are from the NGCDF. Counties have been getting billions of monies, but when you compare with whatever little we get from NGCDF, the development is immeasurable. Madam Speaker, despite trying to entrench these funds to the current constitution, there is need to raise these funds from the current 2.5% to at least 5%. Madam Speaker, I can confirm that if these funds truly are increased from the current percentage, you'll find that all the counties will just come to benchmark in the constituencies. Madam Speaker, I challenge the counties to make sure that they reduce their wages and at the same time increase the number of projects they can manage, Madam Speaker. Let me say that, Madam Speaker, if you compare the number of staff in the constituency level, most of the constituencies have less than 10 staffs, and they execute and they manage and they protect this fund so that we can see whatever is being done to the people goes down to the constituency level. Importantly, in addition, Mr. Speaker, the economic stimulus fund shall be key as it shall align with the current Kenya, with the current government, so that we can access, the people down there, whatever we call Wanjiku, can access the funds. Though we need to review the funds because it will be like a duplication of the WESO fund, Madam Speaker. We need to check into that so that we don't duplicate the funds. Madam Speaker, inclusion of such funds in the Constitution, and more so, the NGCDF shall ensure all running and ongoing projects shall be concluded to the benefit of respective constituents, and also shall not have ghost projects in the expense of taxpayers' money and at the inconvenience of the actual recipient of such projects. Madam Speaker, there are some constituencies which have major projects costing over 20 million. There has been provision of several phases. You can do phase 1 like for 5 million, phase 2 another 5 million. And Madam Speaker, you find that if these funds are not, if the funds do not trickle down to the constituencies, these projects might be a white elephant. Madam Speaker, NGCDF remains to be one of the closely monitored funds, and its utilization has met the expectation of the citizens. Reports from the Office of the Auditor General has also attested that there has been minimal cases of mismanagement due to its utilization criteria and the mandatory approvals before, during, and after undertaking the projects. Madam Speaker, as we speak now, at the constituency level, some students are still at home. Why? Because the parents that are very needy, we have, the very needy students whose parents cannot afford to pay for them their school fees. We have orphans who are needy and bright. So, Madam Speaker, nobody should make a mistake of ignoring these funds, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is prudent to note that the fund has trickled down on the very last residents of the respective constituencies, since the choice of projects is done on need basis after detailed assignment by the NGCDF committees. Madam Speaker, we do a lot of public participation so that the residents in every constituency are satisfied with the projects which they really in need of. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I would urge members of this House to move with speed and try to entrench this fund so that no busybodies can just wake up in the morning and rush to the courts to deny the Kenyan citizen their rights for development and benefit from this fund. Honorable Speaker, I raise my case and I conclude by saying, members, let us be alert on this fund and all will be well. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The next chance will go to the member for Teso South, Honorable Mary Emase.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very important legislative proposal to anchor CDF, NGCDF funds into the Constitution. Madam Speaker, CDF and its achievement over time across the country cannot be gainsaid. Madam